Hello everyone, welcome to accountancy class. Today in this session, let us discuss about practical oriented questions under session 3. So 11th practical oriented question is write pro forma of balance sheet of a company with the main heads only. So you should write the heading balance sheet as at 31st March 2018, then particulars, note number as well as amount column. Next one, equities and liabilities heading under that. First one is shareholders fund, then you should write in the amount column XXX, then non-current liabilities in the amount column XXX. Next one, current liabilities in the amount column XXX. Next one, totals. So total column also you should write the XXX. Next one, the second is assets. So first one, non-current assets. So in the amount column write XXX. So next one, current assets. So current assets, the amount column you write XXX. Then total, the assets column, that also XXX. If you write this main heads under the balance sheet format, then you can score 5 marks in the final examination. Next one, name the major heads under which the following items will be presented in the balance sheet of a company. So you should write only the 5 items here. So first one is loose tools. It is recorded under current assets because it comes under inventories. Next one, debentures. This is non-current liabilities. Next one, capital reserve. It is recorded under shareholders fund. Preliminary expenses, it comes under non-current assets. Provision for taxation, it comes under current liabilities. It is easy to score 5 marks under practical oriented question. So you should be able to identify these items where it appears under the major heads of the balance sheet. So loose tools comes under current assets, 10% debentures under non-current liabilities, capital reserve, shareholders fund, preliminary expenses, non-current assets, provision for taxation, current liabilities. So ಇದನ್ನ ಯಾವ ಹೆಡ್ಡಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಬರಿಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಕನ್ಸರ್ನ್ ಹೆಡ್ಡಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಐಟಮ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನೀವು ಫಸ್ಟು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ಬೇಕು. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಈಕ್ವಿಟೀಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಲಯಬಿಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಹೆಡ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಶೇರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ಫಂಡ್. ಶೇರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ಫಂಡಲ್ಲಿ ಶೇರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸರ್ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಶೇರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಹೆಡ್ಡಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಐಟಮ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ? ಆಥರೈಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್, ಇಶ್ಯೂಡ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್, ಸಬ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್, ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಅಪ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್, paid up capital, forfeiture of shares and share warrants, all these comes under share capital. Next one is reserves and surplus. This reserves and surplus comes under shareholders fund. Then what are the items comes under reserves and surplus? Capital reserve, capital redemption reserve, security premium reserve, debenture redemption reserve, debenture redemption fund, sinking fund, revaluation reserve, general reserve, surplus of profit and loss account, surplus that is statement of profit and loss account. These all comes under reserves and surplus. ಈ ಟೂ ಶೇರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಮತ್ತು ರಿಸರ್ವ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸರ್ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಐಟಮ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಶೇರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ಫಂಡ್ ಹೆಡ್ಡಿಂಗಲ್ಲಿ ಬರಿತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇದು ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಹೆಡ್ಡಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಮೇನ್ ಹೆಡ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾನ್ current liabilities. Under non-current liabilities, that is long-term borrowings. So long-term borrowings andre yav items barutte? Debentures or bonds, premium on redemption on debentures, term loan from bank, term loan from others, long-term deposits accepted. This all comes under the non-current liabilities. Next one is current liabilities. Under current liabilities, subheading is short-term borrowings, trade payables, other current liabilities and short-term provisions. So short-term borrowings andre adರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನಿರುತ್ತೆ? Loan from bank and others, loan from others, bank overdraft, public deposit accepted, all these comes under short term borrowings. So you should write under the current liabilities. Trade payables means trade creditors and bills payable or acceptance. These two items comes under trade payables. So you should write under the current liabilities. Next one, other current liabilities. Other current liabilities includes interest accrued and due on secured loans, income received in advance, advances from customers, unclaimed dividend or unpaid calls in advance, underwriting of commission. This all comes under other current liabilities. Next one, short term provisions. Provision for taxation, provision for dividend, corporate dividend tax, dividend distribution tax, provision for employee benefits, all these comes under short term provision. ಈ ಸಬ್ ಹೆಡ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಯಾವುದೆಲ್ಲ ಬರುತ್ತೋ ಆ ಐಟಮ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ನೀವು ಮೇನ್ ಹೆಡ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಯಾವ್ದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಬರೀಬೇಕು, ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಲಯಬಿಲಿಟೀಸ್. Next one, assets. Under assets, first one is non-current assets. So under non-current assets, first one is fixed assets. Again, fixed asset is divided into tangible and intangible. So under tangible assets, land, buildings, plant and machinery, furniture, vehicle, office equipment, all these comes under tangible, that means fixed assets. Intangible assets means goodwill, trademark, patents, copyrights, mining rights, all these comes under intangible assets. So intangible assets comes under fixed assets. So you should write under the non-current assets. Next one is non-current investments. Sinking fund investment, investment in property, investment in equity instruments, investment in debentures, investment in government securities, investment in mutual funds, investment in partnership firms. All these comes under non-current investments, that comes under non-current assets. ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ಹೆಡ್ಡಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೆಲ್ಲ ಐಟಮ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ವೆಂಟರೀಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಈಕ್ವಿವ್ಯಾಲೆಂಟ್, ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ ಲೋನ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅಡ್ವಾನ್ಸಸ್, ಅದರ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ಹೆಡ್ಡಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಬರುತ್ತೋ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ಹೆಡ್ಡಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, under inventories, raw materials, work in progress, finished goods, stock in trade, stores and spare parts, loose tools, these all comes under the inventories. So you can write under the current assets. Next one, cash and cash equivalents, cash in hand, demand deposits with bank, checks and drafts on hand, all these comes under cash and cash equivalents, then you can write under current assets. Next one, short-term loans and advances, prepaid expenses, short-term loans and advances to employees, advance to suppliers, all these comes under short-term loans and advances. Next one, other current assets, interest accrued on investments, discount allowed on issue of shares and debentures, this comes under other current assets. Next one is trade receivables, so bills receivable, trade debtors, provision for doubtful debts, all these comes under trade receivables. ಸೊ ಈ ಐಟಮ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ಯಾವುದೆಲ್ಲ ಬರುತ್ತೋ ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ಹೆಡ್ಡಲ್ಲಿ ಬರಿಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಮೇಜರ್ ಹೆಡ್ಡಲ್ಲಿ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸಬ್ ಹೆಡ್ಡಿಂಗ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಐಟಮ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ನೀವು ಮೇನ್ ಹೆಡ್ಡಿಂಗ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಓರಿಯೆಂಟೆಡ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಈಸ್ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಕಂಪ್ಯಾರಿಟಿವ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ ವಿತ್ 5 imaginary figures. First, comparative income statement of XYZ Company Limited for the year ended 2018 and 19. Particulars 2018 as well as 2019 column, increase or decrease, first one absolute figure, next one is percentage of items. So ನಿಮಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟ ಬಂದಿರತಕ್ಕಂತ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ನ ನೀವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕೊಳ್ಳಬಹುದು because it is a practical oriented question. First you should write the revenue from operation. So first year 1,50,000. So revenue from operation 4,50,000 and 6,40,000 less other incomes 50,000 and 60,000. Total revenue, when you add this you will get 5 lakh and 7 lakh. Next one, less expenses, employee benefit expenses 3 lakh and 4 lakh. Next one, depreciation 50,000 and 60,000. Total expenses, so when you total these two you will get 3 lakh 50,000 and 4 lakh 60,000. Then less before tax A minus B, that is 1,50,000 and 2,40,000. So income tax 40% on profit before tax, that is 1,50,000 into 40 divided by 100, that is 60,000. 2,40,000 divided 2,40,000 into 40 divided by 100, 96,000. When you deduct, you will get 90,000 and 1,44,000. So next one, the next column, increase or decrease in the values, that is 6,40,000 minus 4,50,000, you will get 1,90,000. 60,000 minus 50,000, 10,000. 7 lakh minus 5 lakh, 2 lakh. 4 lakh minus 3 lakh equals to 1 lakh. 60,000 minus 50,000, 10,000. 4 lakh 60,000 minus 3 lakh 50,000 equals to 1 lakh 10,000. 2 lakh 40,000 minus 1 lakh 50,000, that is 90,000. 96,000 minus 60,000, that is 36,000. 1 lakh 44,000 minus 90,000, you will get 54,000. So you should calculate the percentage. So 1,90,000 divided by 4,50,000 into 100, then you will get 42.22%. In the same way, you should calculate 10,000 divided by 50,000 equals into 100, 20%. 2 lakh divided by 5 lakh into 100, 40%. 1 lakh divided by 3 lakh equals to 33.33%. 10,000 divided by 50,000 into 100, 20%. 1,10,000 divided by 3,50,000, you will get 31.43%. 90,000 divided by 1,50,000 into 100, 60%. 36,000 divided by 60,000 into 100, 60%. 54,000 divided by 90,000 into 100, then you will get 60%. So this comparative income statement, this carries 5 marks. Next one, prepare common size statement of profit and loss with 5 imaginary figures. Next one, common size income statement of XYZ Company Limited for the year ended 2018 and 19. So particulars, first 2018, next one percentage, 2019 again percentage. So 31st 3/2018, this one 31st 3/2019. First write the revenue from operation. So your own imaginary figures, that is 4,50,000 and 6,40,000, and other incomes 50,000 and 60,000, total revenue 5 lakh and 7 lakh, expenses, employee benefit expenses 3 lakh and 4 lakh, depreciation 50,000 and 60,000, total expenses 3,50,000 and 4,60,000. Profit before tax is 1,50,000 and 2,40,000. Income tax 40% on profit before tax is 60,000 and 96,000. Next one, profit after tax is 90,000 and 1,44,000. 4,50,000 plus 50,000, you will get 5 lakh. 3 lakh plus 50, 3 lakh 50. So 5 lakh minus 3 lakh 50 equals to 1 lakh 50. So 1 lakh 50 into 40%, you will get 60,000. 1 lakh 50,000 minus 60,000 equals to 90,000. In the same way, 6 lakh 40 plus 60 equals to 7 lakh. 4 lakh plus 60,000 equals to 4 lakh 60,000. 7 lakh minus 4 lakh 60, 2 lakh 40,000. 2 lakh 40,000 into 40 divided by 100, 96,000. So 2 lakh 40,000 minus 96,000, you will get 1 lakh 44,000. So revenue from operation is taken as 100% in both the columns. This is taken as a base year. So 50,000 divided by 4,50,000 into 100, you will get 11%. In the same way, 5 lakh divided by 4 lakh into 100, 111.11%. 3 lakh divided by 4,50,000 into 100, 66.67%. 50,000 divided by 4,50,000 into 100, 11.11%. 3,50,000 divided by 4,50,000 into 100, 77.78%. Next one, 1,50,000 divided by 4,50,000 into 100, 33.3%. 60,000 divided by 4,50,000 into 100, 13.33%. 90,000 divided by 4,50,000 into 100, 20%. In the same way, you should calculate the 2019 percentage. So, taken is a base as a 100-year revenue from operation. So, 60,000 divided by 6,40,000 into 100, 09.37%. Next one, 7 lakh divided by 6,40,000 into 100, 109.37%. 4 lakh divided by 6,40,000 into 100, 62.50%. 60 divided by 6,40,000 into 100, 0.937%. 4,60,000 divided by 6,40,000 into 100, 71.87%. 2,40,000 divided by 6,40,000 into 100, 37.50%. 96,000 divided by 6,40,000 into 100, 15%. 1,44,000 divided by 6,40,000 into 100, 22.50%. So, this way you have to calculate the percentage under common size income statement that we already discussed in the analysis of financial statement chapters. If you write this account, that is in common size income statement, you can score 5 marks under practical oriented question. Cash flow from operating activities. So, cash receipts from customers XXX less cash paid to suppliers and employees X after deducting, the answer is cash generated from operation less income tax paid XXX, then cash flow before extraordinary items you will get. From that, if you deduct the extraordinary items, then you will get net cash flow from operating activities. If you write this format, you can score 5 marks. Extraordinary items means cash due to theft, cash due to earthquake, cash due to flood. These all comes under the extraordinary items. Classify the following cash flow activities into operating, investment and financing activities. So, before classifying, you should know which are the items comes under operating, investments as well as financing activities. Operating activities means these are primary and main activities of the business concern. Investment activities means purchase and sale of assets comes under investing activities. And so, any resulted change in the size and composition of the owner's capital, that comes under financing activities. So, operating means employee benefit paid, office and manufacturing overheads paid, selling and distribution, income tax paid, rent paid, cash receipt from customers, cash paid to suppliers and employees, income tax paid, cash revenue from operation, cash receipts from trade and receivables, trading commission received, cash purchases and cash paid to suppliers. These all comes under operating activities. Next one, investing, interest received on debentures held as investment, dividend received on shares held as investment, rent received on property held as investment, purchases of building, purchases of machinery, sale of building, sale proceeds from sale of machinery, purchase of furniture, sale of motor car, sale of land, purchase on non-current investment, from sale of non-current investment, purchases of goodwill, proceeds from sale of patents. These all comes under investing. Financing means redemption of preference shares, interest paid on long-term borrowings, interest paid on preference shares, underwriting of commission paid, bank overdraft, proceeds from issue of debentures, repayment of bank loan, dividend paid to on equity shares, interest paid on debentures, proceeds from raising, bank loan, long-term borrowings, dividend tax paid, interim dividend paid on equity shares, redemption of debentures. These all comes under financing activities. So, purchase of machinery is investing activities. Proceeds from issue of equity shares, this comes under financing activities. trade commission received, it comes under operating activities. Cash purchases, it also comes under operating activities. Purchase of goodwill, it comes under investing activities. So if you classify like this, you can score 5 marks under practical oriented question. I hope today's session was useful to you all. Thank you.